YGO Strats single card discussion is going to be talking about some of the cards that have impacted Yu-Gi-Oh! Throughout the years. Today's card, the draw card to beat all other draw cards, Graceful Charity. Graceful Charity was first printed in Starter Deck Pegasus in 2003, making it slightly more noteworthy than Starter Deck Joey's Polymerization. Notable reprints include Dark Beginning 2 in 2005, Legendary Collection 3 Yugi's World in 2012, and Battle Pack 2 War of the Giants in 2013. The card was first put on the list in May of 2003, where it was semi-limited. This lasted until August of the same year, where they eventually put it to 1, and it was eventually banned in the infamous August 2004 ban list as one of the first 13 cards in the game to ever be banned. It kind of ping-ponged around from here for a few years. It was limited again in one format, April 2005, then banned again in October of 2005, before being limited again in April of 2006, just a year later, and then banned again in March of 2007, where it has stayed ever since. A lot of ping-ponging around. I guess they had no idea whether or not it was broken. It most definitely was. A normal spell card, its effect reads: draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards. Like Pot of Greed, that's it. Another card with a short effect and a laundry list of implications. I won't go over what card advantage means in this video, but if you're curious, you can check out my video on Pot of Greed here, and I'm going to now talk about why Graceful is better than that card. In my Pot of Greed video, I mentioned how Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a history of 2-card combos that are really good and make broken boards. That is a huge part of Yu-Gi-Oh!'s identity, the whole crazy combo nonsense. As Farfa put it, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 of card games. Could not put it more aptly myself. And yeah, Graceful Charity is essentially a combo enabler by itself. Even back in 2003 to 2007, when the card was legal, it was hugely helpful in setting up the graveyard and getting to your power cards. Setting up the graveyard has always and will always be huge, from simple acts of getting a light and a dark into the grave for chaos shenanigans, to getting a boss monster like Dark Magician of Chaos or Disc Commander or Jinzo in the grave, to then be abused with cards like Monster Reborn or Premature Burial, or even Call the Haunted. It was wild times back then in Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the day, you could also wait until you had cards in your hand like Sinister Serpent or Night Assailant to use as discard fodder to ensure that you plussed off of this card's effect. It's true that Graceful isn't a +1 like Pot of Greed is. In terms of hand advantage, it's more or less a +0. You will have the same number of cards in your hand after it resolves, but you'll have dug 3 cards into the deck instead of 2, and you'll now have set up in the graveyard to go with your brand new hand. Graceful also discards by card effect, and not as part of a cost. In 2003 to 2007, this probably wasn't the most important thing ever, but in the modern game it could absolutely be huge. Shaddolls would trigger off of Graceful, Dark Worlds would and did, Danger Monsters would trigger off this, not to mention decks like Phantom Knight or Burning Abyss would all love the free opportunity to dump things into the grave. The list goes on. If given the choice between Pot of Greed or Graceful Charity, you'll find most players take Graceful Charity without hesitation. Overall, Graceful Charity is one of the best draw cards the game has ever seen, one that enables combos and sets up both the hand and graveyard alike. It also is one that will stay permabanned for a long time, hopefully forever if you ask me. Or put it to 3 and let Chaos reign. I don't know, I'm a fan of either. But that's our look at single card discussions, Graceful Charity. Stay tuned for our next video, and feel free to suggest some cards to review or what type of video you'd like to see. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on YGO Strats.